Suzi,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm awesome. How you going?
I'm going all right. It's good to see you this morning
Thank you.
or
Thank you for having me. It's
midday,
us.
isn't it? Oh yeah, who do you have there with you?
This is Finn. So Finn is a little rescue that we have adopted, and he is very colourful. See, very colourful. And he's had a bit of a makeover. And yeah, so he's going to be joining. He's going to help me, my assistant, for the interview today.
Now, are those ears purple for this occasion?
They are, especially for the interview, my love. Especially for the interview, yes.
Lovely. Thank you. Well, Suzi, why don't you give us a brief introduction? Who are you? What are you?
No pressure, no pressure.
Why are you?
Well, I ask myself that every day, actually. So my name is Suzi, and I am I live in Brisbane, and I have a couple of businesses called the Hound Hutt. We have doggy daycare and grooming. That's why Finny is so colourful. At Stafford and at North Lakes. And yeah, I've been impassioned about dogs for many years, and so decided to live my dream. Oh gosh, over 20-something years ago, and started Brisbane's first doggy daycare, and now expanding it. And yeah, that's us. That's us. I have two dogs. I have Finn, and I have a little black poodle called Piper. And yeah, so we sort of run amok in the Stafford area. That's us.
Piper. She's great.
Piper's a talent. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, I love Piper. She's got chutzpah.
She has got spunk. Yes, she is. Yeah.
Now, you've been going through some big changes recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I would say that. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's really been a journey probably for the last 3 years, I'd say. But has sort of all come together in the last sort of like 2 or 3 weeks. So it took us 2 years to sort of get the go ahead and opening the business. So I've been like
North Lakes.
In North Lakes, yeah, essentially like hoarding all of the equipment and all of the stuff for that opening. And of course, that has been accumulating in my house and has been building massive piles of stuff in my house. And when we opened it in February, so a lot of stuff went, but a lot of stuff stayed. So yeah, it's been a journey of planning and a journey of doing, and I finally finished it, which is awesome. So yeah, so it was a big declutter. 50 years, well, actually 40 years, I figured. Probably I was bringing stuff in from like my childhood. So about 40 years of stuff. Well, I've left my house about a week ago, and then with the lockdown we've just had, I've just now finessed the house. A whole heap of other stuff went out, and yeah, I'm just sort of downsizing with stuff that I have in my house.
So it just became too much at some stage.
It really clouds your mind, and it brings your world in so close into your head, and you cannot. It's just living day by day. I just could not function looking forward. It was just I'd walk into the house and I'd hated being here, and I would just sit in my room, have all this stuff around me, and it's sort of like it was really toxic for my mental health. And my mental health was feeling it, was failing. I wasn't really happy. I wasn't enjoying life, that's for sure. I was pretty ruthless with what I threw out. Really what it was, if I haven't seen it or touched it for a year, then really it needed to go. So I threw out a lot of things. And by the way, when I say throw out, I didn't actually throw out. I repurposed. So I sent things off. I chose an organisation to come and get all the stuff that they would then go through it and they would donate it. So I didn't want all of my stuff to end up at a tip. That's not what I wanted. I actually wanted, if other people can use it, then I wanted it to go to other people, but I just didn't have the time or the want at that point. So what I wanted to do was go through it really, really, you know, really quickly. It had to be really quickly, and get it out of the house. Otherwise, I'd go through it and I probably would bring it back to the house. And over about a course of about a week, that went. But it took 2 big trucks, and I think it's about 11 cubic meters each truck.
Wow.
And yep. So yeah, a lot of stuff left. A lot of stuff left. And I've got to say, I walk into the house now and it's so lovely. It's light, it's airy, it's good for me. You're good for your mental health. Like there's nothing sort of crowding me, and I'm not holding on to things that were holding me back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. So fun and games, and you know, and my dogs have been a part of that, and I've had to let go of things that I've held on, even like, you know, things I kept for like when my dogs have passed away. I did actually release a lot of that sort of thing because really it's not them.
Yeah.
It's not them. But at the time I had to keep it.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready to release it. Now, this time I was ready to release it, and I released it all with love. That's the other big thing. Everything had to go out with love because it has served a purpose. All throughout its life with me, it has served a purpose, and I thanked it, and I wished it well for its next owner. Yeah, next journey.
Yeah. I love that you used the word release to describe that process.
It was.
When we use expressions like get rid of, throw out, that can make it seem so, well, I mean, it's like discarding things. It's almost like they've lost their importance.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, it's harsh.
Yeah,
and that's good. And that was. And look, you know, I also started. I don't know if you know the lady Mari Kondo.
Oh yeah, the Kon Mari method.
Yeah. So I started watching some of her stuff on TV, and that sort of it did 2 things for me. The first thing is it gave me the realization that I needed to send things off with love. I needed to thank them for their time with me, and I needed to wish them well. So that was good. The other thing it did for me is it stressed me out because all I wanted to do was start, but I didn't know how. And that really, really, really stressed me of like, I really should go and do this, and this tonight, but I'm so tired, so I won't do it. So that really sort of, so did two things, but you know, then what I did was on the weekends I would go through one shelf, and then it was like 2 shelves, and then it made the process easier as you went along. And then one of my good friends, she decided to come over on one of the weekend of the stuff leaving, and she was just amazing. She would actually physically go and put it in a box and get it out of my head. You know, and that was just brilliant. I can't thank her enough. She did a really great job.
So one of your key strategies was accountability. Yeah.
Yep.
You mentioned the company who came in and helped to just take everything away, and it was then their job to decide what to do with it.
Yes. Yeah. And they were brilliant. Like they took it all. Like I just go, I want that gone, and they go, okay, gone. I want that gone. Okay, gone. So what I did was upstairs, up here, I obviously packed up, put it in boxes, put it in my dining room, and just said everything in there goes. So that's that. But downstairs, I actually go down because I've had like, you know, pools, and I've had a whole heap of crap. Let's just face it, it was a whole heap of crap downstairs. So that I just said I want that, and that, and I didn't get dirty. I didn't have to, like, you know, stress about it, and I could actually just relax and know that they were doing their thing and they would go through it for me. So was just dust. It was just dusty because I've got an old 2-story sort of cottage with the battens underneath. It was just dirty and I just couldn't deal with it anymore. So I thought the easiest thing for me to do is say, thank you very much, and send it on its way, and then they will find a new home for it. Yeah.
Being able to send something on its way, having thanked it, is so important. One thing that I have found very helpful about the KonMari method is that what resonated, or the reason it resonated with me is because since I was a kid, I had a way of anthropomorphizing my stuff.
Yes.
It's like everything had a soul, everything had a personality. If I left something behind somewhere, I would feel like I'd hurt its feelings.
Yep.
And even though logically, obviously that's not a thing that happens,
Yep.
it would really hold me back. And it's still something that I find challenging.
Yes. Yes. I'm with you. That's how I felt with a lot of stuff to go. But yeah, I just knew that it was holding me back, and I had to move forward.
Yeah. Another thing I really like about the KonMari method of decluttering is the way things are categorized.
Yes.
It takes a lot of the cognitive load off of, well, what should I go through next? It's like, oh, I'm going to start with shirts. And then, go through all the categories of clothing and then move on to the next thing. And having sentimental items at the very end.
Yes.
One thing I love about that is that it makes you think about what is actually a sentimental item.
True. Yes.
Because if you have a way of anthropomorphizing everything, then everything becomes sentimental.
Yes.
So it's like you have to get into that practice of saying, no, it's just an object. Done with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally. And I did that with my grandparents' things at the end. And I was holding on to things like my grandmother's driver's license, just something simple like that. And I thought, I need to release this. This isn't holding that. This is not her. That thing that I've got in my hand is not her. So I needed to release those sort of things. And that's, you get to the end, and you're right, because you've gone through so many different things of actually releasing, that you do have a different vision and you do have a different look at the items at the end. And then the items that you keep means so much more to you. And part of the thing I was saying to you the other day, that one of the things I've been playing with is I've turned my car into a camper. A little micro camper. So micro campers are a sort of new a concept in Australia, that, so I've got a little Nissan Micra, so it's the tiniest little car, but I actually turned it into a camper van, and I can go away for weekends. So I've realised with that, because you obviously can't take a lot of things, once you put this little guy and myself in there, there's not a lot of room for anything else. So I realised how little you actually do need to live and survive. And that's why, what you put into your camper have got to be specific things, and they've got to be for purpose.
Yeah.
They mean so much more. What are you laughing at?
Because it took me immediately back to my very first foray into decluttering.
Yep.
Because I grew up a hoarder. I would hoard everything. I had collections of the most ridiculous things. Burnt out light bulbs. Oh, this is the burnt out light bulb box. I might use those for an art project someday. Silly things.
Yep.
I remember in 2003, I went on a 6-month solo backpacking trip through Europe. So everything that I had, I wore on my back.
Yep.
at one point I found myself in Edinburgh, Scotland, fell in love with the place, stayed there longer than I'd stayed anywhere else. And somehow, like over the course of my travels up until then, I'd accumulated so many things, just bits and pieces, just mementos and things.
Yep.
And I was there for the Fringe Festival. I had all these flyers for shows that I didn't even go to see. So
Yes.
it's like, I was collecting again. But I think, I think after being in Edinburgh for like a month at that stage, I flew to Norway. I came back to Edinburgh and I was headed to London for something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Point is, like, I was in and out of Edinburgh so much. I kept collecting all these things. And at one point, I had to leave Edinburgh once and for all. It's like,
Yep.
all right, let's get packing. And I was like, I can't carry all this stuff on my back.
Yep. Yep.
And I had to go through the ruthless process of just getting rid of probably half of the things
Yeah.
that I had accumulated. And I was like, wow, this is literally so much more comfortable physically and mentally.
Yep.
Because I wasn't on this trip to accumulate a bunch of things.
No.
Yeah.
And that's really sort of says a lot about life, doesn't it?
Mm.
You know, we aren't in this life to accumulate things. But I think as a society, we're taught that the more that you have, the happier you'll be. But that's actually not the case. The more you have, quite often, the sadder that you are, and the less mental health you actually have, for varying reasons. Like, as I said, like I'd come in here and it was just so depressing. You put me in my little car, now there's no room in my car to do very much. Like, I've got a little lounge room and I've got my bed and all that sort of stuff. But I'm happier in that car because I've got everything fit for purpose. I've got everything that I need to sort of have a lovely holiday and all that sort of stuff. But I can't be happy in my house because of all the stuff that's actually around me. So that's part of the reason. Yeah, you're right. You're not there to collect things. You're there to collect memories and experiences and people and all that sort of stuff. But I think as humans, we need to have mementos, have memories that way. When I go traveling now, all I want, so from everywhere I go, I always get a magnet and I get a lapel pin. So I have my magnet board, I have my pin, and obviously it's only Australian travel right now. But yeah, so I do that, and that's all I bring home with me now. I did that on my last trip.
3 cruises a year now.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. Well, I do. I land cruise now. I've got a listen, Michael. That's what I did, because it was upsetting me that I couldn't travel. And I thought, well, what do I have at my disposal? And I thought the only thing I have at my disposal is my car. So let's do something with that. And then that started the journey. So that's also been a journey. And then, we also did a declutter at the Hutt at Stafford, and that's 10 years worth of stuff coming out of there as well. So it's been a big journey, and obviously my business and myself and my kids, and we're all going to be better for it. We're a lot better for it, that's for sure. Yeah. And looking back, when you're in it, it's a bit painful to go through what you need to go through. Looking back though, best thing ever. Yeah.
What were the hardest things to release?
Family things was the hardest. Again, I suppose it's the physical representation of memories. The way I look at it is, I don't have human children to pass those things on to. My niece and nephew, they're probably not going to. They won't know. One, they won't know the people in the photos, and they don't really sort of care about that. And I just thought, but that was the hardest, of releasing things from my grandparents and releasing things from, you know, my parents and my childhood. Yeah. Yeah. That was it really. Like everything else, because the other thing too is I was ready for it. You know, it's like giving up smoking or going on a diet or whatever it is, that habit that you need to break. You know, people can harp at you about stop smoking, you know, go on a diet, whatever it is. But until you are ready to do it, you are never going to follow through. I know that because I'm an ex-smoker. So until I was ready to do it, no matter how many times I tried, it just failed.
Yeah.
Something just clicked in me and I was ready, and I haven't smoked for nearly 10 years. So I was ready to do something, and I could see I had to do something. So I was ready to sort of release those things, and knowing, like, you know, the other thing too is I'm 50, I'm nearly 51. I'm 50 and I do want to retire, and I can't take all of these things that are in my house with me to my next chapter in my life. And the realization that those things that I rehomed, they aren't those people anyway. You know, as I said, that license of my grandmother, that's not my grandmother. That's a snapshot in time. But that's not my grandmother. My grandmother is in here and in my heart. And in some of the expressions of that I do. And, you know, my sister is so much like my grandmother. Oh my God, I went down there the other day, and she is so much like my nan. So there's my nan, you know. It's in the people around us. And yeah, but I did it. And it's funny because I think to myself, shouldn't you get that? Oh no, it went out. Okay, I'll release it. So because there's nothing I can do. I can't do anything about it. It's gone. And that's freeing. Oh my God, that's liberating. I can't do anything about that. That's gone. Next. So yeah, it's been a great process. Amazing process. I learned a lot about myself. So about it.
What did you learn about yourself?
That I can do it, that I'm strong. I also realized that, you know, I don't need things to be happy. That's the really big kicker. You know, you can, I remember saying to my mum, all I really need to live is a bed, really. That's all, you know, because going camping, all you need is a bed and food. That's it. Somewhere to sleep, because you need to sleep, and some food. And obviously, you know, a shelter. But really, I don't need another Buddha head. I don't need another this. I don't need another that. Just simplify it. I learned that I can be decisive, because sometimes I feel that I do sort of, you know, go back and forth. I feel, because I do have mental health issues. And I think I've found a way to be strong mentally. And that was a really big thing for me, because I feel better. Oh God, I feel so much better with it. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And my kids are happier. It was just another load of stuff that was on me. And now that's all being released. So they're happier because I'm happier, and yeah, family's happier. They said to me yesterday that they thought that I did look happier. So yeah, and I am. Yeah. Everybody should do it. Just go through.
Yeah.
When you're ready. You got to do it when you're ready.
Yeah. That issue of being ready is such a huge part of it too. I've definitely found in periods where I'm decluttering, or I've got objects that I need to release for whatever reason, if I feel external pressure to do that, it's like I rebel a little bit.
You do. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm in control here. I'm keeping this,
Yep.
I don't know, old scratch off lottery ticket that didn't yield any prizes or whatever it might be. That's not a great example, but
No.
it might as well be, you know?
Yeah, but it's a snapshot in time. It tells that story for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like that too. If someone says to me, no, you can't have that piece of chocolate cake, I say to them, you know what, give me that chocolate cake. Actually, give me the whole cake because I'll show you what piece I can't and can and can't have. So I know what you're saying. You push back.
Yeah.
Push back. You know, yeah.
When Tony was like, oh yeah, I've got 2 boxes of personal development books from Suzi. I was like, what? I was like, is it my birthday? What is going on? Like I go out hunting for good personal development books, and it's kind of a hobby of mine to go to the op shops, and like that's always the first place I go. It's like I wonder what they've got on the personal development shelf, and I'll just like, you know,
I love it.
That's how I'm like building my collection, and then these 2 boxes, and I'm like,
happy days. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that you were happy to take those books because that means that somebody else gets to use them and learn from them.
Yeah.
And they're not just going to the tip. They're actually going to be loved and used. And then too, you'll be able to like, you know, pass them on. It's all about paying forward, isn't it? You know, so this is a part of paying forward. That, you know, somebody who didn't have something before, like books, you've got a whole lot of them now.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you know, for me, I was just sitting on a shelf. So you can imagine, you know, if we do put personality and souls into things, right? Imagine how sad that would be for them sitting on my shelf. Like I've used them, I've read them, and all that sort of stuff. And how sad, like, you know, that they're sitting on my shelf, not being able to help anybody. So at least they've gone to somebody now that can go and help. And then when your time with them is finished, then you'll pass them on to somebody else. And that's the beauty of all this. Is, you know, it's spreading the love and loving yourself.
Yeah. The satisfaction of having a more minimalist atmosphere. I mean, that's something that would be wonderful to wake up in every day.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It so is. It's I did actually watch a movie called The Minimalists. Have you seen that?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And what they say is so true. Like, you know, you don't need everything that we as a society think that we need, that we're marketed to, and that you're not a complete person unless you've got X sort of car and this and that and everything. And we are very, very much a how many friends on Facebook, how many likes on Instagram, all that sort of stuff. We're that sort of a society now. And it stresses you out. It does. It's that whole thing of, you know, I've only got an Apple 8. Oh my God, I need the latest thing. And look, you know, and that obviously works because otherwise marketing would not be a multi-million dollar business that it is.
Yeah.
And I think it's our hunting and gathering sort of psyche that we have to have it. And if we have something, we've got to have the latest because we've got to go get the next thing. And unfortunately, though, you know, comes with that is that stress and that nervousness and that whole mental anguish that we all go through. And you know, and I'm not saying that I won't be buying the next Apple. I'm not saying that either. But whatever comes into my house to be thought of, instead of like being an impulse buy, which I was doing before, now I've got to sort of think about it. Yeah. Because I don't want to go back to where I was because that was just so detrimental to me. And I think by focusing too on the camper and focusing on that sort of a mentality, the minimalist sort of mentality, then the things that I buy will be more thoughtful.
Yeah.
There'll be more thought taken into things, because I went and bought a set of drawers, because I did actually want drawers now in my wardrobe. So I did bring something in. I just need to make sure that what comes in goes in with some more thought.
Yeah. Understanding the purpose of it, understanding what it's going to bring into your life.
Yes. Yep. And not buying for the sake of buying.
I think one of the challenges for me in the past, when I've gone through periods of decluttering, is that I'm not really a shopper. I don't like shopping. I don't like going out and buying things, but things end up in the house anyway.
Yep.
Either, things that I make, or things that I bought ages ago that I just haven't let go of, or when I go back to the States, I'm like, oh, this will be useful at home. And then I bring it back to Brisbane with me. And then it's like, it just starts taking up space. And then it's like, well, it's just some more stuff to find new homes for. One thing that does prevent an over accumulation of stuff in the house is my husband. Tony, he's very clutter phobic. Very.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So knowing how clutter affects him is it's not like the perfect solution, because, we also have a kid. So things like that
Kind of comes with that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a good way to stop and think about what else we're bringing into the house.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I'm about to start another period of decluttering, and I think that's going to be the main motivational factor for me.
Yeah.
And like,
go girl.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Tony is really, he's got a bit of time off right now, and he's really good at like going from start to finish with one task when it comes to organizing. He repurposed some old shelves to put into Qualia's bedroom, and like, he's just a genius at that sort of thing, and he's got the attention span for it.
Yes.
And he's rearranged his music studio to be much flowier and more conducive to creative thinking.
Yep.
I'm kind of like, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to get rid of a bunch of stuff, and I want to make things really super nice and organized, and yeah.
Go for it.
Make everyone happy.
Yeah.
Because the other thing also is, like, because I'm so far away from my childhood home, it makes it that much more challenging for me sometimes to let go of things that relate to that part of my life geographically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be too, because you don't have a lot of things to hold on to, as in family here. Yes, that you would be holding on to things. Yeah.
Yeah. But when I do find myself holding back from releasing objects that I know I really have no use for, it helps to remind myself just what you were saying earlier, like, this is not that person.
Not them.
This is not that incident. It's just a snapshot. It's a representation of that time, of that place, of that person.
Yeah.
It's not a replacement for that person. You're not going to lose that person by losing this object. And I know it's going to, like, in another year, a couple of years, and well, it's going to be a continuous process as Qualia grows up.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I remember releasing some things from her newborn stage and her infant stage.
Yes.
And that was hard. That was hard. Even though we know we're not going to have any more kids.
Yes.
I had to find the perfect home for each thing.
Yep.
And that was hard, but I've been managing. I have a partner over in the US, in New Mexico. His name's Mateo. He And when he was expecting his first child, I sent over a box for the child that was some of Qualia's
Yep.
newborn stuff. Not the super, super sentimental stuff, but like
Yes.
the things that still had all these memories attached, but we didn't have any use for. And I knew were going to be really difficult to release to just some random person. It's
Yep.
like, okay, we're going to put those things in this box, send them to New Mexico. And, you know,
Send them
that
off with love.
was very cleansing for me.
Yeah. Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Just one step at a time. One step at a time.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, I think it's also, when we go through the whole, you say we're going to declutter, and I think we sort of think we have to throw everything out. And we don't. You know, it's okay to keep things. It is okay to keep things. It's okay to keep those little mementos and things like that because they mean something to you. It's the ones that you sort of look and you go, you got to ask yourself, why am I holding on to this?
Yeah.
And if it's something that you really love, well, then you keep it. I've got a box here, and it's really sad. Okay, I'm going to open up to everybody here. I actually donated my eggs to a couple to have a child. So I don't have any human children myself, but I do actually have a daughter out there. And I've actually got a box for her. So she's nearly 18. She's nearly 18 now. So legally she'll be able to find me. So I've actually kept mementos of, again, it's this little snapshot in time for her of what was actually going on for me during that time of me donating my eggs. And, you know, if she finds me, I'll give it to her. If she doesn't, well, then I'll probably release it because there's no use me holding on to it. But I've held that for her, and that's one of the things that didn't go out. That's for her when and if, well, if she finds me. Yeah.
I'm a bit mind blown at this revelation.
Oh, okay.
This little thing that I never knew about you.
Yeah.
Wow,
Well, I thought I wasn't using them, but I don't know them. I don't know anything about them. I do know her name and everything. They did write to me when they actually had her. Yeah, but I thought, well, I'm not using my eggs, and if I can help somebody, then you know, there's a little piece of me left. There's a little piece of my DNA left behind when I pass. Yeah, there you go.
That's cool.
Aren't you lucky that you did this today?
Yes.
Yeah. But as I said, like, you know, things like that you need to give yourself permission to hold on to things. You don't have to, when we say declutter, I think everybody thinks that you have to throw everything out and be a minimalist sort of thing, have a chair and a table and that's it in the room. No. It's you know what's right to keep, and whatever you think is right to keep is right to keep.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Putting the things that do mean something to you on display as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And using things. Don't put it away. My mum gave me a willow set. Do you know? It's a Royal Bolton pattern. It's blue and it's white, and it's really, really an old sort of a thing. It's like Japanesey sort of.
I'm picturing something that I think is what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's called a willow pattern. Anyway, my grandmother's, and it's so old, like the china is crazed. You know, it's got all that real cracking in it.
Yeah.
It has sat in my china cabinet in my kitchen, well, for years, because I was afraid to break it. But as Mum said, that, you know, it's there to be used. And if we break it, there's a story, and that's its journey. So we've started using it. Don't put things away to sit on the shelf and to be looked at. Use it. And, like, you know, don't put it on the shelf, like, you know, that, you know, just in case the Queen comes to tea, because the Queen ain't coming to tea, and that china's not going to be used. So use it and enjoy it, and that's what it's there to do, you know. Or send it off with love. So I've since broken 2 cups and a saucer, but that's okay, because there's it's, as I said, it's there to be used, and my grandmother would have wanted me to use it. When you see those clothing groups where the women get together and they've got their clothes that they don't wear, and they all sit down and they go through it and send it off with to people that they know that they'll enjoy.
Yeah.
That's another great thing to do,
Mm.
because it is a friend of yours is actually going to have those items and use those items with love, because that's what they're sent with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like 2 years ago, organized a clothing swap at Northey Street.
Yep.
I think I want to do another one. I want to organize it differently though, so that we don't end up with things being left at the farm.
Yes. Yep. If only I'd known. Actually, well,
it was a kids' clothing swap.
Oh, okay, that's great.
But I'd
Well,
like to like arrange more like all ages sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a shame, because I've just donated a whole bag, massive. Those big bags that balloons come in, those really big, massive bags. Yeah. Well, I actually ended up having that in a box, leave my house a couple of days ago, full of all the clothes, and think clothes that actually had like tags and stuff on them still.
Wow.
Oh, I don't know. You sort of get through it anyway. That's all right. Next time I'll be doing it again. Yeah.
So, Suzi, you've done all this decluttering. You've got this new outlook on your space that you live in.
Yep.
What are you going to do with this new mentality? What's next for you?
Oh, what's next for me? I'm going to travel. So going camping. That's a big release for me. I need to release. I want to grow my business in the fact that I can then step back out of it again. So with COVID, before COVID, as you know, I was sort of like a semi-retired business owner.
Yeah.
With COVID coming and hitting us, I've stepped back into the business, and now we've actually created our next business at North Lakes. So it's being able to go back into that sort of a life again, and getting my businesses to the point where I can actually step back out, and then I can enjoy my home, and I can then take the camper camping, and and that's what I mean by traveling, because we can't travel anywhere else. I start traveling around Australia, so that's where ultimately I'd like to go. I'd like to buy a proper camper, and that's my retirement, is start traveling and having no destination, no timeline, no nothing.
Yeah.
Just, and then going off onto those little dirt tracks onto the side and going, where does this take me? Yeah. That's where I'll be going. Yeah. With my kids. He's like Dad, I promise. Look, see. Look at him. Yeah. He's just very relaxed. Yeah. So that's what's next for me. And like, it's been such a stressful year and a half for everybody, and I don't know where it's going to end. That's why my retirement's going to be an amazing experience. And I need to know the ins and outs. I need to know not just the big picture. I need to know what's coming next. And that has been a challenge for a lot of people, including myself. But I think just by doing this, I'm actually clearing my picture, and I'm clearing what my next thing will be, because when I start traveling, this place has got to then be packed up, and I'll rent it out. So by doing what I'm doing, I'm actually obviously reducing the amount of stuff that I need to worry about doing that with. So there you go. That's my next chapter. And who knows, I might have my daughter knocking on my door soon. Don't know where that's
going on a big camping trip together.
Absolutely. Well, you just don't know. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing with life. I think we've been so focused on the negative with COVID and everything, and quite rightly too, because we don't know what's going on. Yeah. We've never experienced anything like this, and our life and our the liberties that we had and the freedoms that we had have certainly been dented. But I think we also need to focus on what we do have, and what we can do. And then this is what I can do. I can't change COVID, but I can change how I react to it and what I can do around me. And that's what this has taught me.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
That is such a powerful note to end with.
Cool. Thank you. And look, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for wanting to talk to me. That's lovely.
Well, I always love talking to you, Suzi.
Oh,
You're like my business auntie.
I know, right? Yeah, we're aunties in crime. Yeah. Oh, no, not crime.
Right.
Crime. That's it. That's it. That's it. Yes, that's the one. That's the one. There you go.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Anytime. Come back in a few months' time, and I can give you an update. How's that? I might be sitting on a beach next time. You never know.
Never know.
Never know.
And bye-bye to little Finny as well.
You say bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye.
Yep, he's out for the afternoon now. That's it. Yep. All right. Well, look, you guys have an awesome day. Thank you. And thank you so much. And lovely to talk to you, Leslie. Really
lovely
was.
to talk to you as well. All right. See you.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and share it with someone else who can benefit from it. Subscribe to my channel and hit the notifications bell so you know exactly when I've uploaded a new video. You can also book a free life coaching session with me through my website, leslievcoaching.com, and we can work together online or right here in my studio. Follow me on my socials to keep up with what I'm doing, and please get in touch with any questions, comments, or video ideas you may have. I'm Leslie V, and I'll see you in the next video.
Just don't put sound bites together making me racist or sexist or insulting to anybody. Okay, that's all I ask.
They'll be like, "Why don't you declutter the white supremacy from your mind, Suzi?"
That's it. Donald Trump.
My ex to create a master white race.
That's it. Did I say white? Did I say white at all throughout that? I don't know. Oh, that's so funny.